Hi, my name is Paul Del Rosario, and I am a part-time English teacher here at Tokyo University of Foreign Studies. Thank you for having me today, and also congratulations to the freshmen. I teach English. I teach on Mondays and Wednesdays. This year I have 3 courses. The first course, I think it's about Japanese culture. To be honest, I'm not sure, because this is the first year that I'm teaching this course. Third period, I teach kind of like a business English course. And the focus is about branding, brands.
What is a branding?
Basically, it's like a personality of a company or an organization. People think, brand is like Nike, McDonald's, or IKEA, Starbucks. But person can also be a brand. A city can be a brand. A country can be a brand. An organization, an NPO can be a brand. So that's my 3rd period class. My 4th period class it's labeled as technical writing, but actually the focus is about public speaking, presentation, and slide design. Yeah, those are the things I teach at Tokyo Gaidai. What I like teaching about at Tufts is that the students are very diligent, hardworking. They're very capable. 60–70%. At Gaidai, I'm able to speak usually at my usual speed. I've taught at other universities, and each university has their different kind of culture. Most of the time at Gaidai, I find that many of the students are interested in different cultures. They're very internationally minded. They travel a lot. They know a lot about international issues. Whereas, for example, at another university, if the students were like engineering students or economics majors, they might not have such a strong interest in language or in different cultures. For me, that kind of matches with me as well. If I can travel back in time and become a student again, which I don't want to, by the way.
Why?
You
can be younger than now.
But if I were younger, if I had more time, I don't think I would have gone to university. Of course, I could say this now, but I think I would have focused more about technology and photography. I should say more of art, design, and let me stress this, I think I would have studied programming more because it's a very useful skill and marketable skill now in 2020. And in university, I was a psychology major for my undergraduate. I wanted to work in counseling. That didn't work out. I gave up on that. It was just too hard. Then for my master's, I did it in TESOL, teaching English to speakers of other languages, kind of like an English education. And that's what I'm doing now. It's teaching English, right?
I have a question.
Yeah, go.
You said you learned the psychology in the university.
Yeah.
So now you use the knowledge?
I do, in fact.
You do?
Yeah.
How?
That's interesting because, you think, studying psychology, then you work in a counseling office or a counselor as a counselor, or in a mental hospital. Maybe that's the kind of image, or social services. However, the things I learned in university, I majored in university with psychology, I use in class because it's dealing with people. This is not an exaggeration. Every year, maybe 2–3 students come up to me and basically ask for advice about mental health issues, such as depression. That's really the biggest one, I think. Most of the time they're, I think, light. It's not super heavy, but heavy means staying in a hospital. This will be my 13th year at Gaidai. Especially for you Shinyuse, new students, the transition from high school to university and maybe coming from your hometown to Tokyo It might be a little bit difficult in the beginning. That's natural, yeah, big changes. But if you're having difficulty to adapt to a new situation, you should seek some kind of help. Talking to friends, talking to the teachers, going to the school counselor. Those are very helpful in the beginning. But if it gets serious, if you've tried your friends, if you've tried your family, if you've tried school counselor, if that does not work, then you should seek professional help. Then you should go to a proper counselor.